welcome to your yoga practice today. My name is Helena and I'm going to be taking you through a short yoga flow focusing on the hips and the groin. So just make sure you've got everything you need, your mat, a block, a pillow maybe, and let's get started. So we will begin in a seated position today. So that can be cross-legged, it can be legs long in a straddle, you may wish to sit on a pillow. We're just going to take a moment here to arrive on our mats. So taking the backs of the hands onto the knees, palms open, and then closing the eyes, grounding down through the sit bones, growing up tall through the spine and then out through the crown of the head. Begin by taking a nice deep inhale through the nose, and then sighing it out to the mouth. Shoulders travel down the back. Again, inhale. Fill the belly, the rib cage, and then exhale. One more time, just inhale as deeply as you can. And then exhaling, sighing it out nice and loudly. You can keep the eyes closed if you wish. We're going to slowly move into a butterfly or Baddha Konasana, so we'll bring the soles of the feet together. The knees will fall out wide to the side. The heels can be as close or as far away from the groin as you want them to be. And just gently taking hold of the feet, we're going to slowly hinge forward, so we're not pulling on the feet. The hands are just there because sometimes they can be a bit awkward, flapping around everywhere, so we're just placing them on the feet. Releasing the head. Stretching those extensor muscles on the back of the neck. But seeing if we can use the muscles in the hip to draw the knees down to the floor. So we're not pushing with the elbows. We're seeing if we can use the muscles in the hips, that external rotation, to draw the knees down. I'm just going to take 5 breaths here, so you can do the same ones as we did at the beginning if you wish. That releasing breath out through the mouth. Or if you want to find a little bit more warmth, your Ujjayi breath, so closing the lips, bringing the breath in through the nose and out through the nose. And just creating that very gentle, slight snoring sound in the back of the throat. Sometimes it helps to imagine you're saying ah with the lips closed. We're not restricting, we're not closing the throat off. We're just feeling that snoring sound. As if we're a little dragon breathing fire with the lips closed. 2 more. Feel the subtle stretch in the hips. 1 more. Letting go of the feet, so we begin to slowly roll up and taking the right hand down to the floor next to you, the left arm reaches up and over, both sit bones stay into the mat. We lift the chest, look up, just a few breaths here. So the hips and groin are related to the water element. So seeing if you can find a little bit of fluidity, a little bit of freedom in our practice today. I'm going to inhale, reach up. Then exhale, the opposite hand finds the floor. The one in the air reaches up and over, lifting the chest, feeling that long line from the middle finger all the way down to the sit bone. A few more moments here, maybe see if you can come a little bit lower. If you're nice and open today, maybe you can come onto the forearm, not me. And then come slowly back to centre. Hands come behind you, soles of the feet onto the floor. I'm just going to work a little bit of internal rotation, so we gently drop the right knee in towards the centre of the body, so towards the belly button line. The other knee is just staying normal, sole of the foot on the floor. Okay, and then we'll change it over to the side. We do a lot of external rotation, especially in yoga, and not too much internal. So just making sure we're nice and balanced. Good, now allowing both knees to fall over to the side, and then we'll go up and over to the other side, so as if we're window wiping the knees. If you can, try to keep both sit bones on the floor. I know I have a tendency of lifting the hip up, so seeing if you can concentrate on both hips, both sitting bones down, and just doing one more to each side, so we're nice and even. And then when you're ready, swinging the legs, coming onto the hands and knees, into tabletop. So the hands are under the shoulders, the knees are under the hips, and the toes are untucked, so we can feel the top of the ankle pressing into the floor. Like I was saying before, finding this fluidity with the body and the breath. So for now, just seeing if we can wiggle the hips from side to side. Maybe closing the eyes down. And coming back to that breath, whichever one you chose. You don't have to stick with one way of breathing, it can alternate, but just being aware of what pattern you choose. So just that window, that tick-tocking of the hips from side to side. Maybe you do some circles with the hips, or maybe figures of 8 or snaking. But just releasing that lower back, that sacroiliac joint, and feeling the weight as it spreads into the fingers. Maybe the movement begins to get a little bit bigger. Making sure we change direction. And maybe the head begins to follow. So seeing if we can really embody those qualities of water. That feeling of going with the flow, with easing ourselves into the practice. Just a few more moments. Swaying around. And then when you feel nice and loose in the lower back, we'll come back to tabletop. And as you inhale, begin to gently lift the hips, lower the belly, press the floor, shine the chest, the face up towards the ceiling, pressing through the index finger and the thumb. And then exhaling, tucking tailbone, squeezing the bottom, drawing the belly button up and in. Chin into the chest, those bandhas, those locks as we press the index finger into the floor. And then inhale to release, lifting the bottom first, rippling through the spine, the belly, the chest, the face, the eyes. Exhale, cat, tuck, tailbone, press the floor away. Really draw the belly in and up towards the ribcage. And inhaling, releasing, snaking. Eyes and the elbows facing in. One more time. Big exhale. Really ironing out those vertebrae, that space between each and every vertebrae in the spine. And then release back to tabletop. Placing the right foot next to the right hand. We take a little tick-tock again with the hips from side to side. So really focusing on getting into the hips. Like we did in tabletop, maybe the movement begins to get a little bit bigger. Maybe you want to get a bit fancy and do some circles. And the hands don't have to stay still here. They can move up and down, side to side, like a little cat pawing the mat. A few more breaths here. So maybe you want to come through your half split variation, lengthening the leg. I don't know what you've done already before, so you may feel nice and warm. All we'll do here is bending the right leg back to where we began. The left hand comes onto the floor, the right arm reaches up, getting that thoracic rotation, shoulder blades squeezing. Inhale, lifting the thumb. Exhale, the hand comes down to the floor, step the right knee back and swap it over for the left. So a little bit of rope dancing. A few tick-tocks again with the hips, side to side, starting small, and eventually making it bigger, maybe more circular, up and down, side to side, figures of 8, pouring the mat, whatever you want to do. So that sense of going with the flow, flowing like water, and feeling that loosening of the hip, the hamstring, the warmth within the socket. A little bit of clicking like me, don't worry. It's just that releasing of gas in the sockets. Unless it feels painful, then stop. Coming back to that original position, the right hand into the floor, the left reaches up as if we're drawing a bow and arrow. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, inhale. Exhale. Left hand travels down to the floor. Step the left knee back to the right hip distance, tucking under the toes, tuck the chin in towards the chest. We take an inhale here, spread through the fingers. Exhale, float the knees off of the floor, hovering it here for 3 breaths. So we want a nice long line from the crown of the head to the tailbone. Inhaling, exhaling, drawing the belly button in, last one. Lifting the knees a little higher to send the bottom back, downward facing dog. So you can take up as much room on your mat here as you want to. There's no right or wrong positioning with downward facing dog. It's just finding a position that is comfortable for your body. So that may be that the feet are slightly wider than the hips. Maybe the hands are slightly wider than the shoulders. Or maybe you have the knees bent, but we're looking at a nice long spine from the crown of the head to the tailbone. That sense as if you're doing an overhead press, so you're pressing the floor away, engaging the lats, the belly, the spine, the core. And then we'll just take that little wiggle once you've found your positioning, so pedaling through the feet. Taking one heel down and the other, releasing the backs of the legs. And then very slowly lowering the knees back down, untucking the toes, bottom to heels, forehead to the floor, and the arms can just go wherever is comfortable. So just taking a moment here to release off of the wrists. Maybe flutter the fingers. Just to come back to the breath, so that easy flow of the inhale and the easy flow of the exhale. And you're already making your way back up to downward facing dog. And then here we're going to inhale, rise onto the balls of the feet. So lifting the heels. Exhale, draw the heels down to the earth, to the mat. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, draw them down. The knees can still be soft. One more time. Exhale. Good. You may want to bring those feet a little bit closer towards each other now. We're going to float the left leg up towards the ceiling, 3-legged dog. So keep that overhead press through the shoulders. Bend the knees so the heel comes to the bottom. We're going to do some half mandalas. So we bring the knee in towards the chest, keeping it bent. We take it out to the side, so drawing a big circle with the knee back to the beginning. And then we repeat 2 more times. So we bring the knee to the chest, take it out to the side, big circle. 1 more time, inhaling, exhaling. Good. This time we inhale, knee comes to the left elbow, the outside of the elbow. So we can step it forward, bend the elbows, lift the chest, look up into Jaguar. So the hips are lowered. All of the toes of the left foot are pressing into the mat. And we're trying to shine the heart up and forward. If you need to lower the back knee, can do, but if you can, try and keep that power, that strength into the back leg. 1 more breath, inhale. Exhale. Good, so we'll come into Skandasana now. So we're going to roll onto the inside of the right foot. Come onto the right heel, and then the left heel may lift off a little bit. So if I can creep back into the camera angle, the heel is off, and it's kind of like a half malasana. It's also called ninja's pose. Good, so we're nice and low. You may be a little bit higher than me. But we're going to walk the hands all the way to the back foot, so the right leg, Skandasana on the right side. Lift the chest. Skandasana back on the left side. And then maybe this time you do it with no hands. So hands come off the mat. We stay nice and low to the right. Nice and low to the left. And then turning back onto the inside of the right foot, lifting the heel, reach the arms, high lunge. So lift the chest, look up. 3 breaths. Relaxing the shoulders, the back knee can stay soft. Or if you need to, you can lower it down onto the floor. 1 more. Good. Place the hands onto the earth, onto the mat. Step that left foot back. We bend the knees so they hover off the floor. The bottom comes to the heels and the bottom goes up, downward facing dog. Rising onto the balls of the feet, tuck chin, uncoil out to plank. Bend the knees, knees hover, bottom goes back, downward facing dog. So these are called rivers. We'll do 1 more. Rise on high, coil out to plank. Soften the knees, bottom to heels, downward facing dog. Good. And then this time we'll do the right hand side. So floating the right leg up towards the ceiling. Bend the knee, heel to bottom, bring the knee towards the chest, and then take it out to the side. So big circles. Knee to chest, out to the side. 1 more. Knee to chest, out to the side. Good. Right knee to right elbow, big step forward. Bend the elbows, lift the chest, jaguar, press the floor away. So the hips are nice and low here. We're trying to lift the chest up, the gaze up. And again, maybe you need to drop the knee. That is okay. We're just working in the area that feels good for you. 1 more breath. And then we'll move into Skandasana again. So coming to the inside of the left foot onto the heel. Lifting the right foot, swiveling so you can come onto the ball of the right foot. Skandasana / ninja's pose. So nice and low. If you do have any sensitivity in the knee, you may find you need to keep a slight bend in there. So contracting the quadricep, the hamstring. And staying low, we'll walk our way all the way to the other side. Left side Skandasana. All the way to the right side, seeing how low you can go. Good. This time no hands. Just keeping nice and low into the hips. Other side. Good. Sweeping onto the back wall of the left foot, reaching the arms up, high lunge. Relax the shoulders and 3 breaths again. And lifting the gaze. 1 more. Good. Take the hands down onto the floor. Step that right foot back and we'll go for 3 rivers. So we soften the knees, the bottom goes back and up. Rise onto the balls of the feet. We uncoil out to plank. And we bend the knees, bottom to heels, up to the sky. 1 last time. Inhale, rise up. Continue that inhale as we come out to plank. Exhale, bend the knees, bottom goes high, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, we're going to step, jump or hop to Malasana, so that yogic squat. The feet come either side of the hands, like a little froggy. And you may be on the balls of the feet, you may be on the heels. Whatever you find your way there, as long as you're comfortable, that's all that matters. Bring the hands to prayer, the elbows the inside of the knees. Lift the chest, close the eyes. 3 releasing breaths. So inhale, exhale. Again, inhale. Like a moody teenager, exhale. Last time, inhale. Exhale. Sigh it out. Good. Place the hands down onto the floor. Send the bottom high. Forward fold as you bring those feet underneath the hips. Comfortable distance apart. Soften the knees. Either taking the backs of the hands into the mat, the head released. The weight into the balls of the feet. Or maybe you take a hold of opposite elbow, in opposite hand, finding that right dog. Just 3 breaths here as we feel each and every vertebrae falling away from one another. Feel the space in the spine, the length down the backs of the legs, and into the lower back. 1 more breath. Good. Release the elbows. Soften the knees as we come to sit back down on the bottom very slowly. The bottom finds the floor. We take the legs out wide into straddle. Again, you may wish to sit on a pillow or a cushion or a block. We're going to flex the feet, keep a slight micro bend in the knees, lift the chest, and then just slowly hinge forward. So imagining we have a rod from the tailbone up through the crown of the head. We're trying to keep that spine nice and long as we hinge forward. So you may have to walk the hands forward. It may be that you just do a slight hinge and that's enough. So making a mental note here where you are, because you can come back to this video, repeat and track your progress like you do with all your other training. So we'll take 3 more breaths. You see if you can get a little lower. Checking the knees aren't internally rotating. They're going up towards the ceiling or back. 1 more breath. And slowly walk yourself back. Gather the knees in. Give them a nice little hug. Knees squeezing, maybe taking opposite elbow and opposite hand. A little wiggle. And then we'll slowly guide ourselves down onto the back. Crossing the right ankle over the left knee. When you're there, the right knee presses out. The foot stays nice and flexed. And you may stay here. So this is a reverse pigeon. Or you may want to float the left foot up, posting the right hand through the hole. The left meets it on the other side. So you can either go on top of the hamstring, interlacing the fingers, so they're sandwiched between the calf and the upper leg. Or if you have go-go gadget arms, you can interlace the fingers on top of the calf and then draw the shoulder blades down to the floor. If neither of these are accessible, then just grab a tea towel and you can use that to lengthen the arms a little bit more. But like we did at the beginning, working on those extensor muscles in the hips, so the right knee is going to press out to the side as we draw the left knee in towards the body. Maybe close the eyes here. See if you can slow the breath. Stretch into the glute, the hip, the inside of the thigh. 1 more breath. And slowly releasing the fingers so the sole of the foot finds the floor. We'll go half happy baby, so the right knee comes out to the side. The right hand takes the outside edge of the right foot. We shine the sole of the foot up towards the ceiling, so we're trying to take this knee down into the floor next to us. You can stay here if this is enough, or keeping both sit bones, both hips into the mat. We can push the left leg away, lengthening, maybe flexing the foot into that half happy baby. So feeling the stretch through the left hip as well as the right. Some inhales, some exhales. Relaxing the shoulders, the face, the jaw. And slowly we'll release the right foot as the heel comes towards the bottom. Then guiding that right knee across the body, using the opposite arm. You may want to pop your cushion under the knee here, and then releasing the right arm, reaching it away as we turn the head to get that stretch through the scalene. So if you don't have the space here to have the arm long, you can bend the elbow into cactus, but that just makes it a little bit harder. So hopefully you've got the space. Closing the eyes, seeing if you can relax, soften, and let go into the posture. So we always finish practice with some form of twist. Signifies to the brain, the body, that it's time to rest, digest, relax and rejuvenate. So if you have done a workout and you don't have time to do a whole yoga video or a whole yoga practice, then just see if you can get a couple of twists in just to bring that central nervous system down. calm the body and to begin that recovery. One more breath. Using the core, we'll gather the knee back towards the chest, rolling onto the back, taking the right foot into the floor. And then we'll do everything on the other side. So the left ankle crosses over the right. Flex the foot. Pressing the left knee away. Option to stay here. Or to float the foot off as you bring the knee into the chest. The left hand through the hole. The right catches it on the other side, wherever you feel comfortable. Maybe using a tea towel or a yoga strap. And then here, see if you can lengthen through the crown of the head. Finding that double chin as we draw the chin in towards the chest, the throat, and the shoulders draw into the mat. Flex the foot. Draw the right knee closer as we press the left knee further away. Maybe closing the eyes. 2 more breaths. One more. Releasing the right leg so the sole of the foot finds the floor, half happy baby. Knee goes to the side, left hand to the outside arch of the left foot. And then we draw that knee down to the side of the armpit, so we're trying to bring it into the floor next to us. Option to stay here, or maybe you brush the right leg away. Flexing the foot, so you can get the back of the knee into the floor, don't worry if you can't. And then closing the eyes. Hips are nice and square. Face relaxed. No tension anywhere in the body. One more breath. Good. Now bringing the heel to the bottom, guiding the left knee across, down to the floor next to you, maybe onto your cushion as you lengthen the left arm away. Turning the head to maybe getting the tip of the left ear to touch the floor. And this right hand can either be resting on the opposite leg or it can just be on the floor. So it's 5 breaths here. See if you can really let go of this left leg. We all have that flexibility within us, that mobility. It's just unlearning those movement patterns. And also unlearning those emotional patterns. So seeing if we can really let go, we can give ourselves permission to relax. Right now you're exactly where you need to be. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. But just be gentle to your body. One more breath. Falling in, roll onto the back. Bring both legs, both knees into the body. Give them a nice big hug. A little roll from side to side. Into Supta Baddha Konasana, so reverse butterfly, soles of the feet together. Knees go out to the side. And again, those heels can be as close to the groin as you need them to be. And then we'll place the hands on the belly. Tuck the chin again, find that double chin. Just take a few breaths here into the hands. Feel them rise with the inhale. And then fall with the exhale. Spine release, the hips release. Maybe the knees become heavier. So try not to skip this part as it's the most important part of the practice. As tempting as it may be. Seeing if you can really focus on the inhale. Rising up. The exhale, floating down. So you have an option to stay here, or maybe lengthen the legs into your Shavasana so the legs go nice and wide. The arms come alongside the body. The eyes remain closed. we have options. If that's too much for the lower back, then you can bend the knees, feet nice and wide, and the knees can fall in. Alternatively, you can lie on your side. We'll just take a few moments here in Shavasana. Bring your awareness to the breath once more, following the inhale as it changes to the exhale. And then as the exhale changes back to the inhale. Constant flow of breath, that constant flow of energy, reminding us that everything is always changing, never still, never the same, always moving forward. As we learn to move with the qualities of water, we also learn to go with the flow. So maybe repeating to yourself a little mantra, I go with the flow, or just continuing to follow